You can now get a 30-day trial to experience The Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now.
Hello, welcome to Tifo IRL. I am JJ Bull, and here today I am joined by Tom Worville, who is still trapped inside a scattergram! Tom Worville is stuck in a scattergram. Tom Worville is stuck in a scattergram. A scattergram is a graphic representation of points referencing two variables. Hello, Tom.
Here again. There will be potentially one time when I'm not here, but I just can't see it for the way things are going.
Well, one thing I've noticed about the scattergram, which I can see, I can't go into the scattergram because I would be trapped for eternity like Tom is. Yeah. But it seems to that you can move around a bit more, like it's expanding like the universe. Yeah,
I think I got the builders in, a bit of an extension.
How are they not trapped also in the scattergram?
No, for some reason they left. So I can go all this way. All this way. So yeah, nice bit more room for me to just,
that's good.
Exist within, which is nice. Yeah.
Well, what scattergram have you got? What are you trapped in today?
So today I'm trapped in attempted dribbles per 90 and dribble completion rate as well at the bottom. So who's trying to take players on and get past them, and who's good at doing that? Who's kind of efficient when they look to do that?
And one thing to remember about this is that just because we don't talk about certain players doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone in the top 5 leagues who've got 900 minutes or more, who aren't a defender in this case, so we've taken those guys out, they will be in here. They won't be listed, they won't be named, but there are dots for other players who do those things in there. Mystery
players. Yeah. But players we do know, the most dribbly-ist boy I can spot on this entire chart is Neymar. He appears to be quite good at it.
Yeah, very dribbly Neymar. Yeah, what we see, I mean, the general kind of shape of this scattergram I think is quite interesting. We've got this kind of like, dribbly hump of players, which at the bottom you've got a lot of guys who don't really attempt a lot of dribbles, and they have varying degrees of success. You've got Juan Foyt on the far side, and
he's not a defender though.
Yeah, I think he's down the data as a midfielder, even though he played like right back mostly.
Cool.
Then Bryce Mendes obviously down here as well, and then as you slowly get up, they get squished together a bit more, because I think if you try a lot of dribbles, you've probably got to be a decent level, and that's where you see kind of like the success rate for guys who've taken about 5 dribbles or more gets like smaller and smaller, and then there's obviously Neymar at the top. So he did, he's attempting over 10 dribbles per 90, which is, unheard of in most leagues, a massive outlier in Liga. And yeah, it just shows that how much he likes to take the ball, hog it, and try and beat people. Yeah,
that's the thing. So, last season at PSG, Neymar, you think of him as a kind of left inside forward, but he played a lot as a 10 as well. He gets into spaces basically around all of this. Like, he's all in this part of the pitch. He goes anywhere. But he dribbles a lot from deep as well. The fact that he's got so many attempted dribbles, there's a ball hog, right? It's such a pain.
Yeah, it's an interesting one where I think there are certain games, definitely the one that sticks in my mind is the Champions League final against Bayern, where he drops so deep to pick up the ball and then try and go on a run. And it doesn't feel like it makes a lot of sense to like drop that deep. You don't really have the focal point up front as much. If you're going to dribble past that many players, you're going to get hacked down, and you kind of slow the attack down, and you have to get guys, the opposition get guys behind the ball, you're putting the ball into the box. It's like a very, there's a way of playing, I guess, in basketball called hero ball, where a guy just starts shooting all the time. And I think Neymar is the kind of football equivalent of hero ball. He's, dribbly ball.
All right, I love it. The other thing about that is interesting is that look at PSG and the way they've put this superstar team together of Galacticos, but the French word for that. The Galacticos.
Yeah. Les Galacticos?
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Nice. So Neymar is, the last game they played when we filmed this was it's PSG versus someone in Champions League, Bruges, and they drew. You had Neymar, Mbappe and Messi, and Mbappe and Messi are also in this scattergram, because obviously Messi's going to be there because he's the best.
Yeah, Mbappe is just kind of around here, and Messi's a little bit further over.
Perfect.
He's being overlapped by Leon Bailey. Sorry about that, Lionel.
That's the thing, and Mbappe's completion rate's not amazing, but obviously he's trying it, and it's going to be in difficult situations against difficult players to beat in the final third. But that is why the important thing with PSG's squad development and the way they're building is that they need to have support behind them. So you look at this midfield of Paredes, Herrera and Wijnaldum, all very, Herrera and Wijnaldum very box to box, but ball winners and quite safe. Like it's probably improving what they had before with Idrissa Gueye and I can't think who else was in there quite a lot of the time. But this is the kind of thing that they need to have, this support network. Otherwise, you've got Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi trying loads of things. If it doesn't come off, you're suddenly wide open. Like, you know, these boys lose the ball up here, which they will do often, and you're spread out like this. It's just going to be too much space for the defending team to break into. They just be able to run into these sorts of holes. No, not like that, like this. So yeah, safety net. That's what PSG need.
I think again, it shows that, you know, dribbling sometimes isn't, like, just having a lot of dribblers isn't always a good thing, right? Like you say, that balance is important. It's obviously great from a neutral point of view, or from a, you know, YouTube dubstep dribbling compilation point of view, fantastic. But for a kind of like winning games, creating chances, scoring point of view, you can't just cram a team full of dribblers. Maybe the balance isn't there and it might not work.
Well, on that note then, so Alan St-Maximin and Adama Traore are obviously very dribbly boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
over here with Hatem Ben Arfa, I think is a kind of former, well, still current, but obviously one of the first dribbly boys in the Premier League for Newcastle in the kind of mid-early 2010s.
I suppose St-Maximin's taken on that kind of that mantle, we say.
Yeah.
So even though those boys don't maybe produce the numbers that I think they should in the final third, in terms of, I mean, they create chances, but often I would say not high quality ones. Maybe you disagree because you know the numbers. Yeah. But they're there is interesting. And for teams like Wolves, Newcastle, they need that kind of out ball. And rather than being able to clear it or pass their way through lines, which is hard if you've not got the players for it, these guys can just take the players. So say you've got, I think we've talked about this before, but if you've got this team sat back, this is PSG, so forget the big starry names, but imagine this is Adama Traore. It just gives him a way to get out because he's so good at being able to dribble, he can just take the team up the pitch. It wins space for other people, it gets him out of difficult situations. Same as St-Maximin. But then if you look at like Nicolas Pepe, who I think of as being really good at dribbling.
Yeah, down here. So yeah, his numbers are quite interesting where he doesn't put up as many dribbles and his completion rate is actually fairly poor, and he's not too far away from Harvey Barnes, who I think is quite a limited dribbler. He's fast in a straight line, but I think the ball at his feet, he's not got the kind of technical ability to, you know, do skills and get past people, if we're thinking in FIFA terms. So yeah, Pepe's a bit of a surprise, and I think he's another one who sometimes slows the game down a bit, invites a defender onto him, doesn't always get past them, and then it can be quite frustrating to watch. Whereas Traore, obviously with his oiled up arms, he's got a lot more speed on the ball, he's got a lot more kind of agility and you know, able to like boost out of those situations and beat people. So yeah, extremely effective on the counter. And same with St-Maximin as well.
And one more thing on that bit is that, like, Pepe, for example, maybe is not as good a dribbler as the other two that we talked about, St-Maximin and Traore. But Pepe last season for Arsenal scored 10 goals and 1 assist in 16 starts, 13 sub appearances. Whereas Traore, we think of as being this incredible player, 2 goals, 2 assists, and 28 starts, 9 subs.
Yeah, I think with the Traore, he kind of struggled a bit in terms of his finishing. I think his expected goals wasn't too far off. Like he was putting up numbers relatively similar, I think, to the season before. And what we've seen this year is that he's adding more end product. He's getting into better shooting positions under Bruno Lage. So, you know, we kind of saw it with Jack Grealish. He went from being a dribbler to someone who could create and score last season and got a big move. If you add that to Traore's game, I think he's a very frightening prospect, really.
Well, there you go. We've learned today that Neymar is the dribbliest boy, and he's joined by 2 other dribbly boys, Mbappe and Messi, and that's really the lesson I think we need to learn from today. Yeah,
pretty much. That and 1/4 is the best dribbler in the world.
That's right. Yes. And will you try and escape the scattergram before we do another video? Or?
Yeah, I'll try. You know, when the lights go off and no one's looking, but I'm not very confident.
So when we have the studio lights on, you are able to see yourself in the scattergram, but when they're off, you're just trapped in darkness.
Yeah, pretty much.
Assembling data.
Hours on it. Yeah, just, you know, getting ready for the next one of these.
Sounds awful. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is where the Manchester United reporters revealed the truth behind the club's Jadon Sancho transfer fiasco, where the Tottenham reporters brought you news of Gareth Bale's return before anyone else, where the Chelsea reporters told us 3 days before his sacking that Frank Lampard was on the verge of losing his job. And you can try it now for free for 30 days. See the link in the description.